So let's hear from Khloe Kelly, player of the match for me last night, I felt, even though she only came on in 70 minutes.
Definitely.
She spoke to talkSPORT after they reached the semi-finals last night. She said the team showed great spirit to come back and win the match.
I can't lie, it was mad. But it just shows what we're capable of as a team. We get over the line no matter what we face. Hannah was unbelievable, but belief in our squads, belief in our staff, and we got the job done.
There we are. It's Khloe Kelly. Let's chat now to the former England midfielder, Jordan Nobbs. Hi, Jordan.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Yes,
good, thanks.
you.
Well, relieved, obviously, after that penalty shootout. The thing about Khloe Kelly as well, when she came on, she looked very confident. It wasn't like this was someone... She was almost like she was saying, look, yeah, we've got this and we can get back into this game. And I think she oozed confidence. And then, of course, she put in a couple of absolute pearlers, great crosses.
Yeah, they're the players, they start for club, they want to play for their country, and, they'll be itching to get on that pitch. And we saw obviously Khloe score in the final in 2022 and then, come on, and I mean, her crossing ability is one of the best. So she just made a massive impact on the game, and we really needed subs to come on and put that positivity really into trying to get England a goal back.
What can you put that start down to?
Yeah,
it was
the
crazy.
second game in the tournament that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, they seemed off it. There was a lot of basic errors from players you just wouldn't expect. I mean, Kira Walsh miscontrol. I mean, it can happen, but you just don't expect that. They just didn't look they were quite ready to go.
Yeah, Sweden looked like a team. I mean, they're definitely a really good team. They've got far in tournaments before, but I think Sweden looked like a team that were like, we are here to win. I think the way they pressed, it's probably one of the first times you see a team press in England, because they know they have good players on the ball, and, they have controllers like Kira Walsh, like you mentioned. And I think that high press really rattled them. And then obviously, Sweden's tactic is make a channel run. And, that was kind of what was working. I mean, the first 20 minutes, you thought they've nailed their tactics, and they're kind of shown England what they've got to do to beat them.
They would and should have been prepared for that. I mean, was that not an obvious tactic? Really, that they were going to come at us like that and press, and we got caught a bit cold.
Yeah, it's true. It is like a typical tactic with Stina Blackstenius. She's going to make them runs. And then is it a bit like the first game, why is that kind of not clicking, or why is there a bit of sloppy passes? Because I think the France game, it's like, you can have a bad day and it's still the group stage, there's time to get through. I think they'll take a lot from it. I think they'll definitely still take the positives of England seem to find a way to win, and that is the main thing. No one will look back in 2 weeks' time and go, oh, remember that dodgy 20 minutes, that it's about finding a way to win. And what a exciting game for the fans. It was just insane.
Have you ever seen a penalty shootout like that? It was amongst the worst, wasn't it?
Worse than the best when you win it.
Do you think it must have been nerves, wasn't it? I mean, they're better than that, all those players, I think.
I think it's nerves. I think it's probably tired legs, tired head. You obviously had a few younger players taking one. Grace Clinton. There's not many players that have took penalties in a major tournament, and I think that showed from Sweden and England. And obviously the goalkeepers, really did a great job. But yeah, I've never seen a penalty shootout where a team have 3 chances of scoring and miss all 3. I think that's got to be an unusual thing, where it's like, it's fate that the Lionesses are getting through. If you miss 3, you're going to eventually lose that chance.
It was interesting. We were talking earlier on to Ben Littleton, who wrote a book about penalties, and he was saying he was surprised at the Swedish penalty takers. Quite a few of their big hitters, substitutions were made, and they even said in commentary, I think that's with a view to penalties, when Blackstenius went off, she never took a penalty. It was just had some weird choices, didn't they? Maybe some of the players just didn't fancy it.
Yeah, I think Stina isn't someone that likes to take penalties, but you look at the substitutions Sweden made, and they took off Stina, they took off Rolfo. They're very, very experienced players, and they're people you want to take pens. And obviously you never know if it's injury, but you kind of looked at that and thought, you looked at England's substitutions, changed the game, and you look at Sweden's substitutions, it looked like nerves. They brought in a fullback who was very, very young. It's a really difficult position to put your team in. So I thought that substitutes from Serena and change of shape just totally nullified what Sweden tried to do.
Yeah. Are you making changes for Tuesday? I mean, it looks like Leah Williamson, there might be an enforced one. She didn't look good at the end of the game, the ice on her ankle. So, but I mean, beyond that, I mean, players like Khloe Kelly and Michelle Aguiman did very well when they came on, but do you keep it as is? You let them have an impact from the bench?
I still think with the midfield front line, it would stay pretty similar from Serena. I think she'll now know that she has super subs that she can bring on if it's we need some goals. But I guess the back line has always been a change that, I've never seen Serena do before. To change your back line in multiple games is something that hasn't quite settled yet. So we could see another change in that. But I think you have to still look at this game, but you're still looking at what's my team for one of the big dogs in the final.
Yeah.
You don't want to be swapping and changing your team too much.
I mean, Jess Carter, I've seen her play for Chelsea a lot, and she's great, but she struggled last night. I wasn't surprised she got taken off.
I mean, they seemed to target her a bit, didn't they?
They let her have the ball a lot as well.
Yeah, and they were looking at playing behind her, and that's where one of the goals came from. It was. I mean, I don't know why. What do you make of that?
Yeah, tough for Jess, because obviously I think everyone in that first game, didn't have the best game. She probably got highlighted a bit more with the Cascarino on the wing, had a really good game. And then you look at the game after that, you thought, right, back on track. And it's just that little bit of inconsistency. So it's, do you stick with the experience? Or I think when Esme Morgan came on, she has that little bit more speed. But yeah, it's, you want your players in form on the pitch. So I feel for Jess, because it looked like she'd come back from quite a tough, situation. And then, it was hard for the back line to get out, really.
Finally, on the game, are you feeling quite confident? We saw Italy the other night against Norway. That was a very exciting game as well. So you're confident going into that? I suppose it depends on the walking wounded. We'll get some reports on how everybody's doing, won't we?
Yeah, I think whoever got through with England and Sweden, I think we're going to make it to the final. I think Italy have done a great job of getting to where they are now, but I just can't see England not beating them.
There is a picture of Sir Bobby Robson just behind you on the screens if people are watching on YouTube, and that's because you've crossed the Rubicon. Having played for Sunderland, you've gone to the Toon, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, so I've been training today, and so I'm back up north. I'm obviously from the northeast, and some good times ahead. Good stuff.
Yeah, so that's WSL 2, isn't it? But obviously with the hope that recruiting you and others, you can get the team up into the top league.
Yeah, it's definitely a very big, ambitious club, and I think it was the right time for me to come back home and have a new challenge and try and get some from the northeast playing in the WSL. So yeah, nothing happens overnight, but I believe that this is a very ambitious club to push for promotion.
Brilliant. Look, we wish you well. Good to talk to you. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Jordan Nobbs there, Newcastle midfielder and former England midfielder.
Ref was interesting that game last night. She collided with the players
She went over twice, didn't she?
And fell over once.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And gave away one corner that she...
Also, there was one. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, also, they were playing it because it's, they're obviously the idea of the crowd that won't go absolutely nuts. They often replay stuff straight on the heel. It had a lot of boos.
He did.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to bring you the semi-final against Italy live on talkSPORT on Tuesday night. All the remaining games are on talkSPORT and talkSPORT 2 at Euro 2025.